For me, Lego is the medium, and that's pretty much what it is. It's just the art medium, and it's just like paint or clay or any other art medium. The difference being my art medium is made by a toy company that's a specific toy company. Like a painter, doesn't have to have a license agreement with a certain paint company. If they want to use a different kind of paint, it's probably doable. But at this point, because Lego is the only company that actually makes the Lego bricks, I'm forced to work directly with Lego.
How much Lego art do you have on display in your home? Or when you walk into your home, do you want no Lego because you see it all day? Zero. You have zero?
Zero Lego in my home. It's still a job for me, and I have an art studio, and the studio is packed full of Lego and full of Lego art, but I don't keep a lot of it in my home. I rarely have Lego in the home. It's that idea that I'm going to just leave it at the office kind of thing, so that when I come home, I can separate my mind from it. I'm still creative and still thinking all the time, but I don't need that brick in front of me constantly.
And you have a real dog now. So you can come home and you can
actually have
real
two.
dog.
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah. No, I've grown up since I was 10 years old, so things have changed a little.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
But I still have Lego.
And are you the kind of artist that uses a lot of technology, or are you figuring it out as you build with your fingers?
It depends on the project. I mean, I'm exploring technology more and more because, as you can imagine, as every artist is asked these days, when are you coming out with an NFT? Where's your NFT? Have you done an NFT yet? And so I'm playing around with that side of technology. Like, what does that mean for me? Why do I want to jump on this bandwagon? What can I do with Lego and in the NFT world that's going to be different? So I've explored that. I've explored like projecting light onto Lego and how that differs, and can you change the lighting midstream and how that will play with the sculpture. Played around with that a bit. A lot of the fun projects I get into is where I'm collaborating with other artists who are specialists in those technological areas. Even photographers. I've collaborated with Dean West over the years, who's a well-known photographer based originally in Australia. Now he's in Miami, but we've collaborated where we're taking my Lego sculptures and integrating them into his hyper-realistic photography. And it works well because if you look at my sculptures, they're built out of these little rectangles. So they have this pixelated feel to them, and they work well with his digital photography.
Cool. You mentioned before kids. Do you want to play Legos with your kids, or do you want to not touch them?
Oh, well, I mean, Lego is still a job for me. There are times though where I will get a Lego set. I'm still gifted Lego sets from time to time. People will give me Lego sets, and I will sit and I will build the set. And when I'm building that set, it is therapeutic in a way because I'm following someone's instructions. I don't have to think about it. I can just do it. But the kids I have are much older these days. They're out of the house, and they never really had an interest in Lego at all. Very ironic, one might say.
But maybe good for you.
Probably.
Because they're probably not. It would be hard to do it all day and then come home and follow the rules.
Want to keep doing it. Exactly.
So you have built, the one that I've seen a lot of is the Batmobile. And the Batmobile is still put together somewhere, correct? It's on display, or is it dismantled?
It's no longer. It's no longer around. Yeah. Funny thing about license agreements, like with big companies like Warner Brothers, those licenses end and things get taken apart. Yeah, that Batmobile was a fun project. I collaborated with DC Comics on that. I got to design my own Batmobile, which was exciting. Like, it's not based on a Batmobile from a specific movie or comic book. I got to design my own Batmobile, which is kind of fun because it's like the most famous vehicle in comics, I would think. So was a real experience. It turned out to be almost 20 feet long and did get as you mentioned earlier, a Guinness Book of World Records. The Batmobile was in there. So that was kind of a fun project.
I'm sorry, there's all these random questions I have for you. I feel like it's a stream of conscious interview. When people meet you and they say, "Hey, Nathan, what do you do?" What do you say?
Well, I'm an introvert at heart. So
you don't meet
just
people.
I
you
try to
build Lego people. Are these children real, or did you just build them?
Well, that's the thing. I sit in my studio all day with the dogs, and that's it. There's no one else there, right? Like it's just me and some music in the background. I created a job where I don't have to talk to people that much. When I do meet people, and it does happen from time to time, it depends on the setting. If I'm on a long flight and the person next to me wants to get chatty about our jobs, I will tell them I'm a lawyer. And you might be thinking, what? But that kind of usually shuts down the conversation. If I say I'm a Lego artist, you get the random questions, of course. So it just depends. But no, I usually tell the truth. I usually say I'm an artist who works with Lego bricks, and it usually leads to quite a wide variety of questions, for sure.
Like you've just heard me for the last half an hour ask all these questions.
It's all good. It's part of the fun.
If you would have gone to your 10-year-old self and said, "This is what you're going to do for your career," what would your 10-year-old self have done?
Oh, he would have been ecstatic. I mean, the idea of building with Lego as a career for a 10-year-old, especially 10-year-old Nathan, would have been amazing. I mean, he did have a dream back then of working for Lego and being the person who designs the sets and that sort of thing. So there is something there that works. 10-year-old Nathan really was into being an artist, though. That was the goal. And so we got there. It was a roundabout journey. And, I don't regret the path I took. I think being a lawyer was part of my journey and was necessary because I needed to grow a little bit, mature a little bit, but also get some business acumen, really learn about what it takes to be, someone who's knowledgeable about the law and about business. I went into corporate law when I was a lawyer. So I did really see the inside of how corporations work and how businesses work. And that was very helpful as an artist because it let me start my business on my own and not have to rely on a third party. I mean, even as my law degree, I let my law license expire years ago because I didn't want that safety net. I wanted that push, but I still have that law knowledge. So if I'm negotiating a contract with a client, I don't need to go to a third party lawyer to say, "Hey, can you take a look at this? Does this look okay to you?" I still have that knowledge where I can go through the agreement and negotiate it with the client. And so that has been a big push, but it has been, yes, a very interesting journey over the years to get all the way to where I'm at today.
Well, I hope that someday I'm sitting in an airplane next to you and I'll ask you what you do and you'll say lawyer and I'll be like, "Nice try. Nice
right,
try,
exactly.
Nathan." No, I think my most favorite thing that I've seen of yours is probably what everyone says their favorite is. Maybe not. I don't know. What do you think it is? What do most people say their favorite is?
Oh, you'd be surprised. A lot of people have different favorites. It's across the board. So I'm not going to guess. You tell me.
I don't know the name of it, but
perfect.
You'll know. It's yellow, and it's pulling it open, and the Legos are spilling out, and I think it says so much.
Thank you. Off the top, and the name of it is Yellow. So you did know the name of it because you started off saying it's yellow, and that is its name because I am really not very creative when it comes to names. But the point is, that's not true. The idea behind the simple name is to give the viewer more of a role in the interpretation and not, as an artist, put my message right on top of the title. I want you to figure it out for yourself. And you're right in that is one of those works that a lot of people connect with. It is probably become my most iconic work. More people contact me, talk to me about that work than any other one. Well, it is about opening oneself up to the world, right? Giving everything you've got, so much so that your soul is spilling out. In this case, that soul is represented by thousands of yellow Lego bricks.
Which is your story. I mean, that piece of art is your story, because on the outside, people might have seen lawyer, right? But what was on the inside that you opened up and it spilled out? And because you did, so many people have been inspired, touched, moved, fill in the blank. And you've been able to make a successful career out of it. So bravo.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Last quote, we're going to put, of course, that picture that I just mentioned, so you don't have to Google yellow, because who knows if you it might take you a while of getting past like sunbeams and chickens or something, baby chicks, to get to that sculpture. So we'll put a picture of that on the Flip Your Script podcast website, as well as some of the other works we've talked about, the books, Nathan's website, all the things. And if you want to hire him, you better have a pretty good idea, because he doesn't have to say yes to you. So,
well,
yeah, I mean, that is the goal of people who get to the pinnacle of their career. So fantastic. Last question.
Happy to have the conversation with everyone, though. Always love hearing about crazy ideas. But last question, what do you got?
Last question. Quote. Is there a quote, a lyric, a mantra, something that has motivated you as you flipped your script?
Oh, I'm going to take this in two different directions.
Perfect. Because you're an artist and a creative, of course you are. Of course you are.
I'm going to just break all the rules. One, I'm going to go back to when I was a lawyer and I was trying to make up my mind if I really wanted to leave the law to become a full-time artist. And it was a book by Tom Friedman, the artist. Tom Friedman uses household items like plastic cups or toothpicks to do amazing sculpture. And it was looking at that book and looking at his work and reading about his work that I realized, wow, if he can do this out of household items, I could actually do this out of Lego. So that was a very pivotal moment back in the day, very inspiring. And I would later, Mr. Friedman would come to my studio in Los Angeles years later, and it was such an amazing moment for me to meet him in person. Now, that's one of those things. It's not necessarily a quote, it's a full book. But I think you asked about mantra, and that made me think of my mantra. And my mantra is art is not optional. This is something that I've learned over the years. We need more art in the world. Creating art is important. When I was a lawyer, I wasn't happy. And when I would come home from work and create art, it made me happier. And I learned that. And then when I look at kids in school, when they have art in their curriculums, they get higher test scores. When kids are creating art, we see higher graduation rates. So art can make you smarter. And then I see art being used in medical therapy. Art can make you healthier. So if art can make you smarter, happier, healthier, creating art just makes you a better person. So that's why I say art is not optional. I just want to inspire a little more art in everyone. And I'm not saying you need to spend, 3 months building a giant Lego Batmobile or anything like that. I'm just saying creating a little more art, maybe a little finger painting with the